Overclockers. Welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?
Hello, welcome back to EPIC40. We have people walking around all over the place here, as usual.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one, hasn't it?
It has been a bit of a crazy day, to be completely honest with you, but also a very build up to our first final, you know?
Absolutely.
A steep build up to our final, I should say. And our first one of the weekend, first live final on stage.
It is. First of two tonight. Of course, we have the StarCraft 2 finals later on as well.
We do indeed. We're going to be starting things off, though, with some Overwatch 2 for yourselves. Affinity, who are our teams?
So we actually have two wonderful teams here. We have Horrocks, NSC is not a job.
Okay.
Which was a lot of support from the crowd as well from my
crowd.
Which I think is an absolutely brilliant name. And I did have to confirm a couple of times back with the observers.
Definitely.
And then we have Tread Gaming as well.
Ah, not bad. Do we know if it's been a hard-fought victories and, a slog for them to get to this point?
Well, not really. Both of these teams have been very dominant. There were only 4 teams, of course, but still very tough competition. Now, Tread Gaming, I don't believe, actually dropped a game. They won everything. They're coming into this first seeded. Horrocks NSC is not a job. I believe only lost to Tread Gaming, but came second. pretty dominant victories as well. So these two teams very stand out. So I'm looking forward to this.
Definitely, it should be very good. We do have some, obviously, wonderful commentators that we're going to shift over to in a short bit. But also I know there's the MVP prize. I can speak English, I promise. We have the MVP prize as well backstage. Of course, it's the wonderful Logitech headset. Which is very nice.
It's a very wonderful.
I mean, like,
and of course, our beautiful trophy as well. I saw them tying the ribbons on earlier. It is looking stunning, and there is one of these for each of the competitions as well.
There is indeed.
Just look at it in all of its glory.
It's all its glory, I know, right? Like, EPIC40 winner.
It's an interesting one, of course, because we haven't had Overwatch at an Epic LAN in a while. It was 2017, and I'm trying to remember which Epic it was. The numbers evade me, but 2017, all 3 LANs that year had Overwatch #1. Of course, Blizzard had then some rule changes and stuff, which made it a little bit difficult for us to run it. So we took a little bit of a break, but we're back. And
here to stay, hopefully, more teams coming through into February.
Yeah, it was a quite last minute one as well.
Yeah.
So it was quite last minute. So to get the teams that we did sign up and the caliber of teams we did as well has been absolutely incredible. But as you said, next time, hopefully we're going to see even more. This is the start of big things.
We spoke about this yesterday when we did the Staff versus Punters.
Yes.
I have a few friends of mine, and they want to come to February LAN anyway, and they play Overwatch 2 religiously, so I might get them to get a team in.
Why not? But we should have some interviews actually coming up. So we had our wonderful content staff, running some interviews with both of these teams there earlier. So I think we might be showing those to you guys right now.
Indeed, let's have a look at them.
Hi, I'm Spectron, here with Sonda from Horrocks NSC Is Not a Job, before he goes on stage to compete for the grand finals of Overwatch Epic LAN 40 for the grand total of the prize, as well as, of course, the pride of being the champion. Now, in your way is Tread Gaming. Of course, you guys have played before. First time, 3-2 to Tread. Second time, 3-1, also to Tread. Third time, what's going to be different?
This time, I think we're feeling a lot more comfortable. Some of my teammates might have been in the pub for a bit too long yesterday, and this morning, I think they felt the effects of that. But now that we're all back to full strength, I think it's going to be a lot tougher to get to beat us, and especially with the hype of being on stage, I think that's when we thrive. When we have the confidence in each other and we have the confidence from the general atmosphere, I think that's when we play the best. And so I think they really have something to be scared of, and it's not going to be an easy game.
A stage-based team then. Then, of course, you're also playing in a best-of-7 for the game, so it's going to be a little bit longer. You think that favours you or them?
I think the fact that it's going to go long, I think favours us, honestly. I think it's going to be kind of even. It's just neutral. We're going to play the same amount of maps anyways, but I personally feel that I can go on for a long time, and I think the rest of my team have that energy too. I don't know exactly where they stand on that, but I feel we're confident in going long.
Memorably, in your first game against Tread, they pulled out a Hanzo Echo Diva composition against you that you guys didn't really have an answer for. Have you went away and voted for you? Do you have an answer to any of the strats they're going to pull out, or are you just going to play your own game?
I think for the most part we'll stick to our game plan. If it's a thing where when you're on stage and you're in the map, you feel if you need to make any swaps. But for the most part, we're going to default to our comfort picks. I think you've seen that on stream before. But yeah, we haven't really prepared for that specific comp. We have some answers as a default that we've set as a team before, but not specifically for them in this moment. We're preparing for other things.
Now, Horrocks said before this tournament started that you guys were aiming for a top 2 finish. Now, obviously, you guys have already made that, but do you guys desperately want more, or are you going to be happy sitting on your laurels?
We're going to give them a fight. That's all I want. I always go into the mindset when it comes to these tournaments that no matter the team you're facing, you're never going to give them a moment's rest. If you're facing a team that's better than you, don't let them underestimate you. And fight for every kill, every fight win, force out ultimates, get everything going. Don't give them a single easy second in the entire game. Just keep the pressure up.
And for a team that is as strong as Tread Gaming, is there any player who stands out as a massive threat to you and your team?
I don't think any specific player. I think they are all great players individually. They obviously have like the achievements and they have the experience. They've been to many LANs before. Some of them have played together, some haven't. And they're coming together. They're coming with a really strong core of the recently announced EXO Academy. And so they are definitely a tough team to beat, but I think they all shine together.
And for my final question then, I have to ask about the upset we've recently had in the Overwatch tournament. Of course, that would be esports organization taking a win over the Warwick Angels in a 6-map affair. Now, of course, you guys got to play EO afterwards, so what do you guys think about that?
I was really impressed by EO, both the fact that they won against Warwick, because we as a team struggled against them a lot. So that they were quick on their feet enough to adapt on that, I think is really, really impressive. Alongside that, they have the player PvP. It's his first LAN experience, and he doesn't have a lot of tournament experience in general. So I'm really, really impressed by him and being able to beat Warwick Angels like that. Really, really good from them. I think they put up a fair fight against us as well, but we were feeling good about ourselves, and we gave them a bit of a reality check, if you can say that, yeah.
In that case, just good luck in your game, and thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
I'm joined here by Tread of Tread Gaming, here on their undefeated streak, looking to keep it going as we enter the grand finals. Now, of course, you guys have played your opponents before. You've played them to 3-2 and 3-1. Have you guys coached up anything special to try and counter them, or just the same game plan that got you 2 wins already?
Just the same game plan, pretty much. Just play the same comps, then a quick and easy 4-0.
And I was going to ask about the best of 7 format, but if it's 4-0, I'm liking the confidence, definitely. Now, of course, you guys have been at LAN before and on the big stage too. At Insomnia, you guys came second at the last time round. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a repeat, but what do you think cost you there, and what do you think is going to be different this time?
We've got different players this time, of course. Maybe a few people holding us back last time, and of course a different team we're playing against. We aren't playing against a full team of contenders Europe players.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Then I guess to wrap it up, who's the scariest player on Horrocks' team, or do you just think there's no one who's really worthy of that kind of?
I don't think anyone's worthy. No one at all.
Any fighting words then for them, other than what you've already given us?
Horrocks is going to Ajax.
Horrocks is going to Ajax. That's all from us, and we'll see you in the grand finals.
Some fighting talk in those words.
Absolutely.
In those videos, even I should say. I think it's time we get our teams up.
Oh, no, we're not the players. We're not.
I'm not playing in this. We saw that I
get
can't
the
play
people that actually
yesterday.
know what they're doing up here.
Yeah, exactly. Let's bring them up. Call up the teams, Finity.
So they're coming both at the same time, aren't they?
Both at the same time,
so
here we go.
Can we get Horrocks, NSC is not a job, and Trek Gaming on, and can we make some noise for our finalists?
Oh, a little bit of love at the
Lot
end
of
there.
crowd
That's nice,
support
that was, wasn't
It's
it?
really nice to see so many people coming out of the sport as well.
I'll tell you what, right? We're also going to throw over to 2 experts, of course, their field craft, our casters for this evening. Gents, are you ready to go? You are ready? You can say yes.
Yeah.
You're right. There you go.
I think they're ready.
But they're ready.
Yes.
I think it's time for us to leave
Let's
and
leave
let these
leave
guys
in
crack
their
on.
capable hands as well.
You what? Sorry.
Leave in their capable hands.
Oh yeah, exactly. There you go. Over to your commentators. Enjoy the rest of the show. We'll see you all after the best of 7.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve and Affinity, for the wonderful introduction that we had there. Today, there have been some triumphs, there have been some heartbreaks, and for some of these teams, there's been more than a couple of pints. I am Igda Laruna today, joined by the very lovely Spectrion. What a banger of a series we have on our hands today.
Definitely. I think we saw in the interview, but these 2 teams, they've clashed before, and it's not been too pretty for Horrocks. NSC is not a job, so they're looking to change their fortunes now and get finally a win against Tread Gaming. You heard Tread himself. He's pretty confident, so should be pretty fun if both these teams trash talk, their fighting words are lived up to. 4 maps as well to get the win. Best of 7 formats. We'll be here for a little while, but I mean, we have to start thinking about our predictions already. I mean, 3-2 to Tread, 3-1 to Tread. I'm sorry, I love you, Horrocks, but I gotta say, it's sound like a 4-1 to Tread Gaming for me.
Okay, right. Well, here's the issue. Here's the issue with that, right? Everything says that Tread Gaming should win this, right? They've had the advantage in 2 matches now. There is no real logical reason that you wouldn't be favoring Tread here. That being said, Horrocks teams has the vibes. And so solely because of that, I'm going to be giving Horrocks teams, yep, there we are, we got some noise for that. We're going to have Horrocks team going to be winning this one out. At least I'd like to think so. Hey, look, if Horrocks teams win this, they are going to have enough pints to drown all of Kettering. I know that much.
I heard that in a couple Epic lands before, they ran out of booze, and There's 5 players on the stage who I think could get that done again,
Yeah,
realistically.
that would be crazy. Remember, both these teams are going to be competing for a pretty nice prize pool here. £750 is going to be on the line. Not an insignificant amount of money at all. Of course, losers will still be doing pretty well. 300 quid out of it. Certainly not bad for an outing here today, but I think both of these teams are shameless bag chasers. They're going to be wanting some of that.
Definitely, definitely. And as you said in the pre-cast, Egda, this is LAN. Anything goes. Nothing makes sense. So an upset here, I almost wouldn't find it surprising. I'd love to see it, and we'll see how all these players cope with the shining lights of the big stage. You know, they've been playing before from just their desks, no one behind them but their mates, and now, of course, there's all of you guys. So maybe that changes something. They said they weren't afraid of the crowd. They weren't afraid of the pressure, but it's easier to talk a big game, a little bit harder to go and play it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much difference versus when you're just playing from the comfort of your own home versus playing in front of a big crowd like this. It really can make a big difference. We have seen time and time again, not just at this event, but you know, all over in competitive Overwatch, that stage nerves can be a big thing. As we do go into Ilios as our first map of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Ilios is going to be where we're starting out. Of course, Horrocks NSC is not a job. They're going to be playing Reinhardt. Big surprises here. I know. Tread Gaming, they've showed a couple other looks, but most notably an ability to counter it out with that Reinhardt Echo Hanzo comp they showed before. That was last seen by us, at least on Dorado, and so far, it's looking kind of similar.
Yeah, definitely going to be seeing whether Horrocks NSC can make the adaptations here when they're trying to just execute this strategy as best as they can. It's something that can work for them. They have struggled before, but in the meantime, none of that really matters. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 seconds onto the first map of the day. Can we make some noise?
Yeah, opening up spawn doors, trying to get towards the point will be both teams. Starting out here on Lighthouse, going to be very tricky to scale this, Ryan, but with the Symmetra teleporter, it's going to be pretty easy to get around to the point right now. Starting and taking a lot of space actually will be Tread Gaming with the Multiplier into SXJ. Going to be very hard to try and not take too much damage, and that, of course, is the name of the game. Sonda on the Mei, so there's not too much pressure, just Fate. The hit scan, who will be able to take care of these flying heroes.
Yeah, Teleport is going to be coming in onto the point here. Tread Gaming, they're just going to be playing the angles. Point likely going to be flipped over first here for Horrocks NSE. Actually will be a touch very briefly coming through, but instead, and this is the issue, Condi hitting big shots. TP onto the high ground. Is it going to be catching anyone? Not quite for the time being. Tread actually stunned up on the point. Try to contest things. Nice anti-nade out on the side from Takundo, and seems like Fate going to be cleaning this fight up. Losing Yuana there. Pretty big deal.
Res.
Yeah, huge res actually coming out. Captain Prash is going to be keeping Tread Gaming in the fight for the time being. Once again, we still have Tread looking for something. Fate could be a very juicy target here. Already a duplicate actually out from SXJ. Charge that ultimate up so fast, but it's not going to stop Takuno from getting rolled over once again.
That it won't. So with a duplicate, though, SXJ charged it quickly. Horrocks NSC is not a job, though. They're still in control of the point. 35% and counting. While these trades are back and forth, Horrocks NSC is not a job. They're the ones winning out. Condi, overclock pop, taking care of Fate and trying desperately to dislodge Icica, who's shielding in the corner, but with the Mercy Pocket finally will be taken down. And that's first fight, 1 out by Tread Gaming. But Horrocks NSC is not a job. 50% accrued. They are in pole position right now to convert, and Tread Gaming is going to have to stop them from getting any more momentum here. It's going to be very, very rough, and with no duplicate to invest, it's going to be even rougher for them.
Yeah, SXJ still going to be an absolute menace from up here. What are Horrocks NSC really going to be able to do to contest them? A whole lot of nothing, or apparently spoke a bit too soon.
Oh,
Straight
lovely
right
boop!
click. Yeah, great boop. Going to be cancelling the res, keeping this fight 4v5. Horrocks trying to press the advantage here. Going to be having a defensive beat there. Just try and get really antsy off the back of that. Looks like they are going to be trying to move themselves over to the point very briefly, put a little bit of pressure on this, force Tread Gaming to make a move. Vout coming out from Captain Prash to keep Tread nice and tanky, and so much damage going to be coming through. SXJ onto Fate 2. Blizzard on the point from Sonda. Is it going to be catching anyone? Not quite, but it is at least going to be allowing Horrocks Entity to secure the point. AQ walling as well, but Tread back on the Doomfist. Shades of Andreas here, potentially, going to be popping off on the character, and yeah, the shout-out came out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Tread managing to make the Doom work after just a little bit. But right now, points been flipped back again. 68% is not too bad at all. And Tread Gaming on the defense. Duplicate back up for XJ. could be big. We saw it come out early, but Horrocks, DPS Lucio taking down Condi.
Yeah, Prash actually gets the res, but dies for it. That is a big anti-nade as well, coming downtown from Tread Gaming on Horrocks NSE. Desperation is going to be coming out. Tread slamming everything down, catching AQ in the corner. Sonda trading out, not keen to let this fight end this way. Sonda dragging the team, kicking and screaming here, and that is a BM pin onto Tread if I've ever seen one.
Oh, bloody hell. But there we go. Flip comes back through for Horrocks. NSE is not a job in back and forth, has this particular game. And here we go again. Hopefully the momentum for the sake of Horrocks stays in this team's favor, because right now they are looking pretty good to take at least Lighthouse. Tread Gaming over to the Farah. SXJ, Captain Prash going to be in that particular duo. No more Echo, hoping that the Rocket Queen can be the golden ticket. They need the key to fit this particular lock, but a TP onto the high ground is going to clear out the backline.
Yeah, teleport did come through onto Takuno there, but able to live. I think they were just dislodged from the high ground. Fate so vulnerable in the back. That's a sleeping target. Not actually going to die. Iska, what are you doing, man? Pinning in onto SXJ. A little bit of anti-air. Reinhardt going to be coming out here as well. Prash, once again, is back with the res. Will not be kept away from the duo. Prash pulling out the Glock onto Iska as well. What is happening here? Tread going to be taking this point once again. So back and forth right now.
Flipped again at 99. Neither team, it feels like, can win the consecutive fights that you need. But right now, it's last fight territory for Tread Gaming. Horrocks NSE is not a job. They have one fight to take Lighthouse. One fight to start off their grand finals well, and one fight in which they're going to have plenty of tools.
Yeah, we can already hear some of the noise coming out from the crowd. There's definitely some support here for Horrocks NSE. Yeah, right there, we got it. This is so much damage, however, going to be pumped through, going to circumvent it. Nano onto SXJ. Things could get nasty right now, not unless Horrocks has anything to say about it. Going to be popping the beat on the point. There's the barrage from the back! And it is gigantic! SXJ popping this point wide open here for Tread Gaming. Horrocks NSE, everyone is dead. Full team wipe. No chance of coming back into this one. First point of the day going to be taken by Tread Gaming.
And that's a way to flip a point in style, Edgar. 4K off of the Farah, the Mercy Pocket, the Nano, every resource into SXJ. And unfortunately, Horrocks NSE is not a job. They burn all their ults a little bit too early. They blizzard to clear the point. They beat as well, but there's no one there to be dealing the damage. But while they have the space, yes, they do not have the round. So first, going to Tread Gaming. They're looking to start off their Epic Land Grand Finals strong.
Yeah, and here's the thing here. I guess it was just a compositional difference. Obviously, it was executed on incredibly well by Horrocks NSE, but eventually they weren't really able to circumvent the range. Yes, a couple of fights they were able to get through onto Takuno, but they eventually managed to wise up to that. And, you know, it was only really when Tread Gaming got a bit scrappy that Horrocks NSE were able to take advantage. Once again, we do see similar compositions. No Reinhardt anymore. Looks like Arissa going to be coming out from both these teams here.
Yeah, Arissa giving me shades of the Boston Uprising here. And from Isaka trying to counter out the Doomfist they expected, but will not be. So Arissa Mirror has got some horse-on-horse action as they poke full control of the health pack.
Yeah, still just poking and prodding out here. Mostly a mirror composition coming out from both these teams. One small difference. There is the Bastion versus the Sojourn. Going to be interesting to see how that matchup works out. Tread getting very aggressive there. Walls coming out for both these Mays. Look like there's a better trade here for Tread Gaming. Yeah, Iska. Lamp is going to be forced very early. A lot of good positioning here for Tread Gaming. They're going to be keeping up the pressure. They're going to be applying more damage, and eventually Iska just going to get overwhelmed. Takuno down is a pretty big pick. Yeah, 1 for 1, but SXJ instead landing all the right clicks that one could possibly be asking for to win out this fight.
Yeah, lovely play out of the May. Got pretty damn close to the Blizzard 2 with all the damage that's coming out. Horrocks NSE is not a job. Back to spawn, back to figure out their comp again, and
Iska's had enough.
Yeah,
Iska's had enough of the Arissa. It's time for some Rhine. It would not be EU Overwatch without just a little bit of cheeky Reinhardt.
Yeah, they're going to be playing around, most likely getting a fast window with what looks of the auspices of Horrocks NSE is not a job, and Tread Gaming. They just want to finish off their own tools, try and invest what they can to get a quick fight win. They need to play a little bit slow, and the Rhine shield from Iska dropping low.
Yeah, going to be having range advantage. There's the window coming out. Iska right in the front line, walled up, just about being kept alive. Clutch immortality field there from Fate. Horrocks NSE going to be forced back just a little bit, but Sonda caught from downtown. That's a little bit of fishing there from the Arissa. Going to be catching onto the Bastion. That is a big chunk of damage now gone for Horrocks NSE, and AQ going to be taking a little bit of a swim.
Yeah, AQ was dancing with death for a little while now. Had Horrocks speared off the map, trying desperately to survive, but Lucio duel off the map. Captain Prash gets the better of that particular main spot duel, and right now, it's looking pretty strong for Tread Gaming. Horrocks NSE has no job. They haven't really had a chance, and I'm not quite sure what's going wrong with the composition. There we go. Plenty of tools coming up now, though, so this should be their strong fight.
Nice
And
wall.
Tread Gaming running out of just some of them, so if they have any chance to get a flip going, it should be now.
SXJ has somehow made their way to the enemy high ground. Not entirely sure how that happened
Oh,
there.
aggressive
for
fight.
a second. Incredibly aggressive beat, and the artillery strike, and the ult combo. It's going to be big. It's going to be catching on to Sonder. That's what happens. You stack up all the ultimates. You're going to get some value there eventually. AQ getting absolutely bullied out in the corner here. Is there a chance here for Oryx NSE to even get back on this point?
Doesn't look like it. 5%. They've just been team wiped. They spent everything, and no one will be even able to touch. So a nice try, but Tread Gaming look in control on Helios.
And there we have it. Big slam coming out at the end there. Tread Gaming taking that first point in relatively dominant fashion. Maybe a little bit scary on that very initial point, but once we moved over to Ruins, there were no problems at all. SXJ is going to be catching a bit of a consolation prize here. You know, the going to be getting that fire play of the game, but ultimately, yeah, Horrocks NSE composition just kind of getting shredded there.
I mean, they came out, they said they were going to play to their a couple switches in the map. Not looking too pretty right now, but Helios, I know, maybe a little bit too dominant for the Pharah, for the Echo, because those flyers were cooking them all throughout that first point. And as we moved on to the second, when we saw the Orisa coming out, unfortunately no answers to that either. Tried to counter-comp a comp they didn't see, and so an unfortunate loss for Horrocks. NSE is not a job. Going to have their map pick at least going into next, but they're going to have to pick themselves up, dust themselves up, and regroup coming into our next map.
And if you're Horrocks NSE here, so obviously you just tried out Ilios. That was Tread's initial pick. They did have the highest seed, so they got the advantage in that sense. Now you're Horrocks NSE. You have a chance to take control of this game back, try and, you know, snatch up a map again. We've got a long series ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, but try and snatch up a single map. Do you just pick Kings?
They're picking Kings.
They're going to pick Kings, aren't they?
Wait, in the crowd, raise your hand if you think they're going to pick Kings.
And that's only half of the team.
That's true. Some of you are delusional. That's fine.
Just a little bit. Yeah, no. Hey, look, if Kings wasn't picked, it'll be very impressive. Horrocks NSE, they love the rush. They love the Lucio. Horrocks has actually shown some shades of flexibility here. What was considered, you know, a Lucio, some would say one trick, I'd say aficionado. Instead, actually showing shades of value on the Brig. I think we've had a couple of Mercy plays as well, and hasn't been bad on those rules at all.
We've actually seen some Horrocks Iliari a little bit earlier on. That actually looked like pretty good for them. But right now, yeah, it's looking like Kings Row will be where we go for map 2, where Horrocks hopes to reverse his fortunes, and where Tread Gaming hopes that this can continue exactly as is, because right now the final and the title are right where they want them, exactly in their sights. And I'm transfixed, actually. Captain Prash is wearing it's like a rabbit hat. It keeps like flip-flopping. I can't look away.
What are you talking
Look
about,
at him.
my guy?
He's over there.
I'm not going to look at him, no. We have a job to do, man. Get focused. Oh, my lord. Okay. Yeah, anyway, obviously Kings is going to be picked out, favoring that rush style. There's also a very good chance that both the teams, obviously, having some jitters. Obviously, it's very early on. Yes, they've been playing in this live environment for quite a while, but it is far different when you're on the stage. There's crowd, there's people, there's loud noises, lights coming from absolutely everywhere. A little bit of jitters maybe coming out from Horrocks NSE, especially on that Ruins point, because they did just look a little bit lost there, to be perfectly honest. Now, hopefully we get to see some changes for the time being. Obviously, they're calming down a little bit. They're letting some of the pressure relieve, but we're not going to be letting any of the hype die down, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, yeah, Horrocks NSE is not a job. They've always been a team who thrives in the late game, in the late series. So, you know, first map, a warm-up, we'll call it that. Still 3 maps to go before they're in some really hot water. But I believe we're getting ready to go into the game. Kings Row, where the center of Brawl, just a couple miles down south in London, will be where we try and take our map to. And Horrocks NSE versus Tread Gaming sounding pretty enticing to me.
Yeah, as we know, London obviously not the home of esports. That would be Kettering, as we all know here.
He said it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just true, isn't it? But yeah, going to be, honestly though, we call it a Brawl map, though something that we've actually noticed as time has gone on, especially in Overwatch 2, where you can't just run it down main with Ryan Zarya. A lot of teams actually been getting very flexible. It's no longer such a hard Brawl map as it once was. Yes, you still have, say, third point to contend with, where there's a very few off angles and quite oppressive, you know, high ground for the defenders to make those Brawl comps just really shine, especially you get a BAP on that high ground, they can't really be dislodged. But there is also room for flexibility here, so it's not like this map is a complete throwaway for Tread Gaming here.
Oh, no, I fully agree. So I think we can kind of change that point around a bit and put it this way. So for Horrocks, NSE is not a job. what they want, their win condition, is getting it past second, because once the payload's there, they can play their favorite comp till the cows come home, and unfortunately for Tread Gaming, they're going to have to mirror it. But, you know, through first and second, they might struggle just a little bit more because their Tread Gaming can play the Orisa, they can play the Pharah, and they can play the D.Va, and we saw exactly how well it worked out for them before. So, you know, the first point of the attack might be a bit of a pain point for Horrocks Gaming, and after that, they can begin to show what they can really do.
Yeah, obviously, a team that is as strong as Tread Gaming, you can't really, you know, push away their ability to pull off anything, you know? We were seeing Doomfist getting some absurd value on that first Ilios point as well, eventually followed up by the Orisa too. That being said, only time's actually going to tell what they end up playing as we get here onto King's Row. I wonder if Horrocks NSE have something up their sleeve here.
I wonder if they're going to play Reinhardt.
That would be really crazy. It would be a hell of a
absolutely
prediction.
insane.
Oh my god, I think they'll play Reinhardt.
Yeah, curious to see what the attack go with, actually. I think Tread Gaming going to be starting there. That is the big mystery. I don't think Horrocks NSE is not a job. Their comps are going to be up for too much debate for most of this. And yeah, absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, I have to say. Tread Gaming in spawn. Going to be kind of hard to guess what they're doing.
I'd pay good money to see the SXJ Junkrat.
I actually would. That'd be kind of sick.
It really would, wouldn't it?
But yeah.
But unfortunately, we can't have the things we want in life, and so he may be switching off. Very unlucky, I know. But yeah, going to be seeing where they want to be sticking on these tank picks here. Obviously, pretty standard what Horrocks NSE is going to run. Tread likely just messing about a little bit, and yeah, going to be going over to quite the expected Orisa pick here, and it's just another mirror, the only real difference being the Orisa and the Reinhardt.
Orisa normally does have a pretty clean matchup into it, though, so it's going to be more down to execution than anything else. Horrocks NSE has no job. Their job might be a little bit harder, but with the defensive position, that might be an advantage good enough to get a decent hold here on first.
Yeah, Tread wanting to push forward a little bit. Going to be burning through quite a lot of resource to actually get there, so they are just going to be chilling for a second here. Decent May wall, and eventually Horrocks NSE are going to be backed into a corner here. Once again, both teams haven't really gotten anything big here. Looks like a TP play is going to be coming through. They do end up wrapping to the high ground. That's a nice boop. Yeah, big boop off the high ground there. Going to be splitting Horrocks NSE in two. And Tread Gaming more than happy to capitalize off of that one. An immortality field there for Takuno, and Iska not particularly happy about that one.
Captain Prash showing that supports absolutely can carry. Beautiful play from Captain Prash, sneaking around and able to punish the TP beautifully. Horrocks NSE is not a job, have had their defense cracked instantly. And now Tread Gaming, with all the momentum on their side, they can push that now. They can get past the arch hold and they can challenge Horrocks NSE is not a job for control of the bookshop. But right now they're comfortable just to play the point and allow Horrocks NSE is not a job to take all the space they want.
You say that. Horrocks NSE are actually going to be able to get to the archway. So obviously they lost the first point. Not ideal, but this is the best case scenario now as far as things go. They get to hold in a very strong, very defensible position. Definitely looking at Captain Prash on this high ground to try and put in some cheeky poke from up top. There's the window, going to be matched out. Wonder which one is better here. Probably going to be the one that allows Condi to shoot through with reckless abandon. So much damage onto the shield of Iska. Not going to be catching anyone yet, but the pressure is there. SXJ is going to be caught down. Horrocks NSE might be stabilizing here. Spear onto AQ is big. Someone get Tread some healing. Not going to be possible. Stuck in that bookshop. Down the river without a lifeboat there, and yeah, Horrocks NSE finally winning this one out, halting the momentum a little bit, and actually maintaining control of this archway.
That kite of the window was absolute perfection from Horrocks NSE is not a job. Honestly, a miracle how no one managed to fall there throughout all the fire and flames, but survive they will. Regrouping is Tread Gaming. Horrocks NSE is not a job, waiting for their respawn, so a little bit of space going to be given up, but pittance in compared to what could be. Ult from Sonder out early, plenty of damage and lamp force, but not a final blow.
Yeah, very early artillery form. SXJ going to be freezing them all up. It's going to be catching on to 3. That's a big ultimate, and the damage is there from Condi as well to follow it up. Horrocks NSE had no chance in that fight. They just got absolutely ulted on there, and Fate just going to be a martyr for the cause now.
Yeah, trying to sell his soul dearly, but sell his soul he will. Horrocks will do much the same. Horrocks NSE is not a job, have been swept so far. 3 minutes, 52 seconds on the bank, and looking like it now, they may well just get the second point. Like even a recontest from Horrocks NSE is not a job, who right now look absolutely shell-shocked. Tread Gaming pushing forward, but Takuno dies!
Yeah, that's a big pick, but Horrocks NSE even going to be able to touch this. They're going to be trying, but Tread going to be pulling them all back. They're not going to be able to touch the point.
Condi.
That initial pick not going to be meaning anything, and Tread Gaming even getting the kills off of that. More distance, more time, full team wipe here for Tread Gaming. This is a dominant Kings performance.
Yeah, Horrocks looked like they wanted wanted to capitalize off the pick onto Takuno, but unfortunately he'd already dropped the window and the ultimate as well from Tread zoned so much space. They had to wade through both abilities to try and get a touch, and unfortunately that was too much to ask. So if they're in the strongest point on the map for their comp, this is their best chance to get a stop here on King Zero, and a window Fire Strike combo will catch nothing. Captain Prash, however, catches the Metro right click to the face.
Yeah, it was a very nice Maywall there to deny the value, but Prash is going to be going down early. Tread Gaming maybe could have continued to fight that without their Lucio, but opting not to. They have time, they have resources, they're not too worried about this, just going to be backing up a little bit. Now, going around the corner!
Great Walls!
Great Wall going to be cancelling out the slam there. So much damage now coming through on the front line from Iceka. Healing is good, and the wall is there, keeping him alive. Iceka going to be trying to redeem themselves after that one there. Captain Prash on the side, falling so incredibly low, is going to get that health pack. Both teams somehow still neutral in this fight. Sonder looking to break the stalemate here with an artillery strike. Not going to be doing a whole lot there. Takuno windowing from downtown. Pump in damage, pump in healing, whatever you can. Iceka in the corner.
What a wall.
What a wall, isolating them out. Tread Gaming going to be running over the rest of them, and SXJ with a blizzard for good measure. 4 minutes left on this time bank, and they're still pushing the point forward.
Yeah, it's looking very rough for Horrocks Hennessy. It's no job. They'll have one more shot here. Support ults coming up, and Tread Gaming at least will have very little to answer. Oh, what's this? He's being all sneaky beaky like, but will be spotted out, pushed down, and while the Orisa's strong, can they touch the point? 3 meters left to go, and Ice has managed to pin on.
Yes, TP did actually come through. It's going to be shredded. Both tanks are gone. Touch just able to come through. Horrocks will be popping the beat in time to leave Horrocks NSE on the point. Nice and tanky, and Fate going to be captain onto Prash before falling themselves. Takuno so free on this high ground. Can someone deal with him? Not going to be happening. Horrocks, last one to fall. Iceka not just about able to get to the point. 29 centimeters left, but it's not going to be for anything. Emergency switch over to the Kiriko here from Fate, but Takuno still a champion on the high ground. 3 minutes left here on Tread Gaming's attack round, and Horrocks NSE, they have a mountain to climb now, Spec.
They've just had their legs swept up from under them, and I'm not quite sure they can get back up. I mean, that looked rough, that looked painful, and Tread Gaming right now are absolutely frying them. A really nice try, but unfortunately, not enough. You can see it. They're constantly just pressuring the Rhine Shield, pressuring the Rhine Shield, pressuring the Rhine Shield, and Iceka is just not able to keep that thing up, not able to get the value that you'd want out of your Reinhardt, I think, for most of the time. The ult combos as well have been brilliant. This value, especially out of SXJ's Blizzards, have been absolutely phenomenal. Some great walls as well to supplant the pick. And right now, Horrocks NSE is not a job. They can't be thinking about equalizing this time. They just have to be thinking about finishing the map, securing at least extra innings, and going from there, because a 3-minute time bank, that's a hill some will call insurmountable.
Yeah, and here's the problem here. This is Horrocks' composition, and they're kind of being swept on it, so to speak. Yes, there's obviously the distinction between the Orisa and the Reinhardt, but this kind of rush-down style, the Lucio, the Bap, the Bastion, the Sim or Mei, depending upon all these key rush picks, Horrocks NSE, they're actually kind of getting rolled on it, for lack of a better term. Going to be looking, see whether there's something they have up their sleeve, something they can pull out. Again, as we know, Horrocks NSE, it's just like wine. It's a team that gets better with age. The more time that goes through onto a point, the better they will perform. As we do look AQ here, are we going to have any cheeky picks? Not quite. Going to be dropping back and something a bit more normal now.
If Horrocks NSE is like wine, then we are sommeliers surveying a very good vintage, but good enough. Oh, pinning in, teleporting in. Iceka booped, harassed, gets on top of the Bastion, but takes down Conde.
Yeah, very aggressive play there from Tread Gaming. Not quite working out. Iceka is on 30 HP and is still alive. Is anyone going to shoot the man? Yes, just about in the back here, but it doesn't matter. Horrocks NSE going to be finishing this one up. It looked like Tread Gaming went for a very aggressive play there, and they just got split up. Didn't quite work out.
Yeah, punish and a late stagger onto Takuno is brutal, but there's still one player stuck behind. Can't quite see who that is, but if they fall, that'd be a brutal stagger, one that Tread Gaming are not able to take down, to plant. A lovely nade, long range, but won't really mean anything. Horrocks NSE is no job, can start thinking about their fight plan for the next, looking at their ultimates, very likely to be early window, as it often is with these particular compositions. Going to be much the same, I would assume, for Tread Gaming.
Yeah, I think that was Prash who was getting stuck in the back line. Was actually able to get back there. Archway hold is going to come through from Tread Gaming, and they do have a little bit of extra range here. That's going to be one TP, only Hort's coming through, but the window absolutely going to be shredding through Tread's HP bar. Window from the side from Takuno, not quite fast enough to have the Orisa live. Iska going absolutely crazy with the hammer, going to be finding 2-3 in this corner. And now Horrocks NSE, now they're turning tables a little bit. Strong time bank from them, very strong attacks. They're staying calm.
That they are. I have to say, Horrocks NSE gave me the heebie-jeebies with that teleporter. Horrocks went through and then it was instantly broken, so that was a Lucio stuck in the back lane, nowhere to go. But fortunately, the window from Fate is too good. They get the team wipe. Tread Gaming sent back to Swan and a nice forward hold standing here for Horrocks NSE as an odd job. Sonda popping the artillery formation early. Been very successful with this so far, but this time just using it to burn time, maybe get a lamp out as well, and pressure onto Takuno, but just force the BAP shift.
Always very interesting when Baps shoots to use the ultimate very early. Tread, ooh, has to be very careful, getting absolutely shredded there. That can often happen. Artillery's form is going to be used here from Condi on the high ground. Shatter coming through, not going to be catching on to anyone. Horrocks knows that the team's going to be frozen up. There's a beat out. Is it enough to keep anyone alive? Not quite. The focus fire is too good. Through the beat, through the immortality field. Iska falling first. Without that linchpin, without that front line of the team, even with Fate delivering a little parting gift.
Oh, that's a
Tread
brutal
Gaming
stagger.
there. Yeah, and Fate just going to be flying there. Tread Gaming now stabilizing here.
Unfortunately, when you do play the Symmetra in this composition, it gives you very few ways appealing for the Blizzard Freezer. Often the way you peel somebody out is with a Maywall towards the center of the Blizzard, use the speed to get him out, but unfortunately, the Lamp and the Beat not enough to allow Isuka and Ko, once they're frozen up, to survive. AQ as well, not able to sim TP out the single player, so they're going to have to regroup and push down the stairwell if they want to push into Tread Gaming, if they want to push the payload as well.
Interesting angle here they're going to be taking. They might even want to be just waiting for this teleporter. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Going to be getting onto the high ground, some of them at the very least. Wall coming out, try and keep him in this fight. Tread has been forced back, forcing that beat out from Prash. But in the meantime, Fate is going to continue applying pressure. There's a window here in the front line. Tread Gaming round the corner. Going to have touches at some point using window of their own. Nice wall onto Iska. Just about able to slip out of that one. Not quite clean enough. And that's actually a big TP. It's going to be allowing Iska to live for a little bit longer. And that's going to be the Terror Surge coming in. They're so low, and it's going to be allowing Iska to go down here. Condi cleaning everything up. Ooh! That was a scary one. We know these teams. They've had a little bit of experience with a couple of C9s in this series. Just calming it down here. Not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, they nearly had him there, but unfortunately, Stag onto Horrocks is just going to be burning more and more time off the bank. Horrocks NSE is not a job, have been stopped here before. There's a point they really struggle to attack. Unfortunately, it can be very strong with the defenders, especially when you are running this Bastion, when you can control these off angles this strong. And Tread Gaming right now look firmly in control. Their ult cycles are good, their angles are perfection, and again, an ult from Sonda, this time hoping to find a little bit more.
Yeah, I think on the side we were able to see Tread just doing a little bit of teabagging there after that fight. You know, a little bit of a tactical crouch as you do. Tread going to be pushing in very aggressively. That's a beautiful TP. It's going to be dodging out the artillery strike perfectly. Pin into the back. Unfortunately, not going to be finding anything. Iska going up against the brick wall that is Tread here. Blizzard is going to be coming out, and SXJ just going to be making popsicles out of all of these guys.
Unfortunately, SXJ is just finding far more value with the May than AQ is with the Symmetra. The TPs are nice, yeah, but when you don't have as great targets as an Ana or a Zenzi on top of, then you're going to find a lot less. And right now, in the Brawl on Brawl, the Maywalls and the Blizzards are just tearing Horrocks NSE is not a job to shreds. Horrocks coming close to the beat, very likely going to go for a beat engage. And Tread Gaming in the defense have found absolutely no troubles whatsoever. A lovely wall to stop the TP, and that's going to cause an awkward split.
Yeah, blocked up by the wall there. AQ falling incredibly low on the side. Has to be a bit careful already. There's a lot of resource being burnt out. Window is there onto the front line. Takuno does have one to match, but wants to pop it later. Get more value out of it. Tread, you got to be very careful there, bud. You're standing in the open just for a minute there. Takuno instead from downtown has all the shots, has all the damage. So clean onto AQ. Condi just going to be dropping down, clean things up. Fate going to be falling from the sky. Dead as a doornail. Horrocks. Is Horrocks going to be long for this world? Just about.
Yeah,
a bit too slippery.
To escape. And I think we see exactly why Tread was so confident in the pre-game interview. I mean, look at this absolute domination. What was a 5-minute time bank has dwindled now to just 1. 60 seconds to try and get the cap through a second. They can get to the point of the map their composition actually likes. And while they have their strong fight here, will it be enough? Will it be enough to dislodge the ironclad defense of Tread Gaming? Or will King's Row be stopped right here, right now?
teleport onto the high ground. There is going to be that Terror Surge coming out. So much damage onto Iska. Feel like that's been a very common theme. There's been a lot of focus on this tank. Not a whole lot been able to
Big
do.
slam.
There's the Shatter. Does end up catching onto one there, Condi, but the beat did actually come out. Not quite as much as value that they would have liked. Horrocks going to be beating as well. Slightly later, a little bit more health for a little bit longer. Yeah, Blizzard is going to be charged up here from SXJ. Is it going to be dropped down any second now? Yes, it is. There's the wall. There's no escape for them. Trade Gaming taking another fight so clean. 10 seconds left. Fate, the only one alive. Is there a well? Yeah, Fate actually hiding around the corner. Maybe there is a desperation play here. Could try and get on.
Get your skates on. Pushing desperately. He's taken down Speed, and there will not be a touch. Trade Gaming up 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 in this series, putting themselves ever closer to that £750 grand prize here today. And hey, that'll be some money well earned if they manage to finish this off.
Yeah, that grand prize is looking further and further away. If Horrocks NSC is not a job, the consolation prize looming, and right now it's pretty damn one-sided, if I do say so myself. Some nice fights, some nice attempts, but when it matters, it feels like Tread always has the metal to clutch it out. They can always just lock down a point, and with a defense like that, oh, I'm not loving the Horrocks chancing, I do have to say. Now, there is hope. Suravasa historically has been pretty good, so Horrocks NSC is not a job, and that is typically what they pick in when it does come down to Flashpoint. We have not seen too much New Junk City at all here at EPIC40, and if I had to guess, I don't think that's going to change much.
Hey, and obviously just on account of this being the first time we've seen Overwatch 2 at Epic Land, it's also the first time that Flashpoint is actually being played at this venue. So there we are. We're making history here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, noise for Flashpoint, the game mode everyone loves notoriously.
No, that goes hard. I'm not hearing any slander.
Okay, well, I don't care about your opinion anymore. Point is, it's a really interesting mode because oftentimes when you're dealing with these matches, you're simply dealing with, okay, how are we going to win the next fight just so that we can hold the point or so that we can take the next point or something like that. Flashpoint is one of the more unique modes, kind of alongside with Push, where you have to think about the mode itself as an actual point that requires coaching on, you know? Where you're going to position, where you're going to take your fights, whether you want to be giving up points early so that you have a better positioning on the next point, remembering that only realistically you get about 2 or 3 clean quality fights before a point is flipped. So a lot of strategic decisions. We're going to be seeing how hard these teams have been drilled on this composition because there's a lot more to think about than just how do I win the next fight.
And yeah, last time we saw Horrocks NSC as not job playing this, they did somewhat struggle against TPing Bastions onto the high ground, especially off-market. That was where they often punish the most. So that's a possibility we could see from Tread Gaming again. No, they haven't been playing much Sim Bastion. It's always an option. They're a flexible team. They have pretty much the whole gamut of competitions they can play. So again, a likelihood we could see. And from Horrocks NSC is not a job, then at least for me personally, I'd like to see maybe a little bit less Symmetra. I'm not sure it's finding the same value as SXJ on the May. And whether that's a hero pick or just an individual comfort thing, then we'll have to wait and see. But either way, what they're doing right now ain't working. So a change-up really would be absolutely brilliant to see.
Yeah, and absolutely. And while we're thinking about, obviously, the rushdown styles which are being played here, the Orisa-Ryan matchup is quite obvious. Orisa can just shut down quite a lot of what Reinhardt can do very effectively. Something that's actually used, it was the grand finals this year, actually. Obviously, London were dominating until Boston just hit them with that Orisa composition, had no real answers for it. Maybe a bit more of a subtle difference. Tell me a little bit about, obviously, the Bastion, very popular in these compositions. Tell me a little bit of the difference between the Symmetra and the May, and why you might be choosing one over the other.
I mean, May firstly offers a lot more survivability, of course. You have the ice block, you have the wall, you have a smidgen more HP. You're just going to be living a lot longer than the Symmetra is in pretty much every scenario. May wall as well is a pretty great way of instantly securing a pick, especially on the tank, and no tank in Overwatch 2. I mean, essentially game over from there, yeah. A third thing is going to be Blizzard, which, especially in these brawl-on-brawls, is a massively valuable May wall and a Blizzard, and that's essentially a fight one. We saw that more than a couple of times from SXJ, just the previous map. And in exchange, Symmetra is going to give you plenty of mobility, the ability to quickly flip the map, and some lovely off angles to a smidgen more damage as well. But if you're not getting value out of those off angles, out of that damage, I do think May's going to be a stronger pick, at least in the brawl-on-brawl.
Yeah, something we've not actually seen a lot of here. New Junk City. Lots of these teams have been favoring Suravas here, so it's going to be very interesting to see how teams want to be playing this one out instead.
First time we've seen it, at least at Epic Lands. It's going to be very, very different. No more high grounds to teleport on, same as Market. Instead, it's going to be all about rotations, wrapping around the point, who drops onto the low ground first, especially on the opening start of Arena.
Yeah, obviously both these teams going to be brawling out, so Arena a very apt start for them in this situation. Both of the Flashpoint maps, obviously they lend themselves pretty well to kind of fast fights, mobility, chaos. Are there any kind of more subtle differences, subtle nuances between Suravasa and New Junk City that we need to be thinking about here? Obviously, if you're Horrocks NSC, you've lost on Suravasa against Tread Gaming before, so you might as well pick something different, right?
The maps favor different things very slightly. I think that on Suravasa, you're more than likely to see quite a lot of Orisa. It's going to be a little bit harder to play on New Junk City, but still very viable. I think that New Junk City, of course, all the points are going to be very different. Typically, they have a much higher focus on big high grounds and low grounds where you have to play on the point, so map control going to be a necessity. On Suravasa, it's a little bit more the points are where you fight, so pay a little bit of attention to that. But of course, all of these 5 points are going to be so varied, so different, that there's not one thing I think that separates them in the macro sense. Instead, it's how much you like each individual point that's going to be the difference maker. And looking at what we're seeing in Spawn right now, I don't think there's any surprises.
Yeah, I think if SXJ continues to tease us with this Bastion, I'll personally give him £750 myself just to see it. I'm going to be having a little bit of a pause coming in. Probably a couple of tech issues. We did hear last match there were a couple of microphone problems, and obviously communication has to be incredibly strong here. But yeah, here's the issue with the Orisa being so heavily favored against a Reinhardt. How can a Reinhardt, let's say that we had perfect players, how can a Reinhardt really perfectly execute? Are there any maybe subtle advantage that a Rein may possess against an Orisa? I know it's a tough one, but really thinking outside the box here.
Orisa's pretty good at shutting down the Reins, to be honest. You try and get the pin, you know, you get speared, you get fortified, you swing on them, you try and take the HP VHB trade. Again, fortify is going to ruin your day for that. And I mean, we saw it previously on King's Row. You try and chat, and it's more than possible to CC you out of getting a good timing for it. So Orisa's got plenty of counterplay to the Rhine, and it's going to be pretty tricky to execute correctly. Now, in terms of your value against the rest of the team, though, that's where Rhine does have his strength. And you know, at least a 1v1 Reinhardt versus Orisa. The Orisa is going to be a lot less scary in most of the situations. But about getting there, that is going to be the trouble. And while Lucio Speed and Smash Teleporter is nice, yes, then you're still going to take plenty of damage on the rotate, and that's very often where Horrocks NC is not a job, where they're getting punished, because when Icica can get into the backline, when the hammer can start connecting on some squishier players, that is where we see the fight wins out of Horrocks NSC. So that is always going to be the name of the game for them, but whether they can actually get there or not is a different matter entirely.
Yeah, I think, and that's just kind of the idea, right? Try and circumvent the Orisa as much as possible. Use your Symmetra, get onto the backline, because obviously Rhine teleported onto the backline can definitely deal with squishies a lot better than an Orisa necessarily can at close range. Obviously, Orisa is not necessarily lacking in damage, but can be a bit awkward at a very close range to be hitting shots with that machine fire. Very interesting how Orisa's just kind of taking a role in the meta. Obviously, did have some adjustments recently, did get nerfed up quite a little bit. That being said, it doesn't really seem to have affected exactly where she stays in this meta.
Yeah, I think the Season 7 patch in general was not massive. I don't think it was one of the most revolutionary patches we've seen of all time. And yeah, the nerfs we saw to Orisa, not enough to stop her being played. And Tread Gaming, it looks like they're rolling out on the Junkrat.
Oh, there we have it. I'll wire him the money later. Don't even worry about it. So, right, Tread Gaming has a Junkrat. What is the idea here?
Frontline trade, I'd assume, but you can also flank, try and get the concussion mine combo. We see SXJ lurking, crouching,
This is
shifting.
where we keep our voices. We keep our voices down here. Keep our voice down just in case. Okay, now they know we can talk again. It's perfect. It's going to be on this off angle, just going to be pumping in some damage from a distance. You're losing the isolating pressure of the Mei and SXJ. Maybe Junk, bit of a squishier target than a Mei. Going to be caught out by Sonder there. That's a very key initial pick for Horrocks NSE to get here. They are going to be taking position up on this point. And first cap here is so important on Flashpoint.
Yeah, they're going to get plenty of percentage for us, even if they do lose this fight. And right now, with Captain Prash going down, very likely that they will get the conversion. Tread desperately trying to take care of Sonder, but the bash and damage too much. Icica, awkward fall though.
Yeah, Conde putting in some absolute work. There's also a window now, just to pump in even more damage. It's going to be just about overlooking this point. Horrocks gets hit with the nade from downtown, finding the angles there. It seems like Horrocks was playing checkers and Condi was just playing 4D chess.
Condi, a force of nature right now, of course, spent the last contender split competing with Sheer Cold, and while I don't believe they're still together, still an absolute force of nature, and one that NSC is not a job, kind of has to be scared of. We see exactly why they're there and now re-engaging. They do have tools for the job, but they're also going to be behind in point percentage by the time the point flips.
Yeah, a couple of key ultimates are going to be coming up from both these teams here, so really anyone's fight. Trade Gaming are going to be accruing more percentage. Very scary Junkrat damage coming out, but they're going to be chasing it down. Not quite dying. Condi, however, it's just artillery fire raining down. Whether it's a Junkrat, whether it's a Bastion, Horrocks NSC are just getting bombed right now.
Yeah, absolutely flat, and Condi chasing desperately for the ace, and while it will be stolen away, it's essentially solely the Bastion gets the fight win for Horrocks NSC is not a job, who right now, with how much space Trade Gaming has taken, doesn't really look too capable of touching on Arena. They're going to try for it by the looks of things, still pushing out, still scaling together, but it's going to be rough, and Trade Gaming have a gamut of tools to try and shut it down. The Riptide from SXJ, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and it's also zoning as well. Horrocks NSC, they're not even going to touch this. They are so scared of this tire. It's going to be coming through. Sonda going to be caught out, and that is a huge pick there. Sonda is going to be so far away from the next flashpoint. Trade Gaming, it doesn't really matter that they had bad positioning there because they're just going to be able to push themselves all the way to the next point now.
And there's the strength of the Riptide. It's going to consistently get you 1 or 2 kills like that, and with Sonda taken down, Horrocks NSC is not a joke. They can't take the fight, and so Vents instantly going to be controlled by Trade Gaming, and scaling into the Bastion, scaling into the Orisa, scaling into the Junkrat. That's going to be rough for Horrocks NSC is no job, so they're going to need some fancy footwork and a lovely teleporter too.
Where is SXJ?
Where is he going?
What is happening here? I guess we'll never understand. Going behind the Terror Surge as well, lobbed into the bombs. Horrocks a bit too wise for that. Has the beat. Trade Gaming, Captain Prash is going to be popping the beat of their own. Not enough to save SXJ. So much damage going to be melting Captain Prash out. But Fate going down is really bad here for Horrocks NSC. Horrocks, as much a player as he is, just simply doesn't have the healing output to allow Horrocks NSC to sustain in a full fight here.
So instead, the disengage from Horrocks NSC is not a job. They go back, they taxi back their back so they can take the fastest fight possible. While only 10% or so will have been accrued by the time these two teams clash, it's still a lovely advantage for Trade Gaming, especially with the defensive positioning.
Yeah, TP did come through. It was only Iceka that actually
Iceka
went forward.
wins.
Yeah, that was a bit horrific. The TP being destroyed almost instantly. West Horrocks NSC not able to follow up on it. And Iceka, I thought main tank experience was meant to not be a thing anymore in Overwatch 2, but oh well, some things never change.
Yeah, looking like it. Oh, a late kill onto AQ as well. Not looking like a touch is going to be possible for a hot minute for Horrocks NSC is not a job, who've been pushed all the way back to Arena. Sonda scarpers for his life, but a huge slam!
There's huge shatter, but the trap there, unironically, will come in clutch. Gonna stop any ounce of follow-up there from Iceka. SXJ being an absolute menace on the Junkrat, and somehow Horrocks snuck all the way back onto the point. It turns out that when you take your fight on point 1, point 2 is very free for the taking. It's a little bit of time, but it could always be valuable for Horrocks NSC, and they are going to be swapping over to a Sig now.
I mean, the 11% is nice, but you'd rather Horrocks goes back for a fight. It's going to burn way more percentage for Trade Gaming than it would have ever got for Horrocks NSC is not a job, so not a play that I am in love with. We'll have to see it comes back to punish them. Of course, Iceka now over to the Sigma. Going to be a little bit stronger at the poke. Not going to have to get into close range as much, but we'll see if it's enough as Horrocks takes a grenade and takes some shots.
Yeah, and there's the Riptire. It's running around. Sonda unfortunately died before it could actually get the kill. Trade Gaming taking that point very convincingly here. They have the picks. They have the fight plan. What's the idea here of the Sigma into the Orisa? Of course, there has been some very strong success on Sigma recently, thinking, you know, Overwatch League champions Florida Mayhem, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem to be working out yet.
I mean, Sigma's going to have a lot more poke, of course. You have the grasp. Should you get in a particularly sticky situation, that's something Ryan can't particularly do, and you're also a little bit better at enabling your own Bastion with that projected barrier. So you've got a couple different things in the matchup, and of course, Orisa v Sigma, then Sigma actually will be winning out that health bar trade more often than not. So it's a bit of a Sigma counter pick and a little bit of a Mei counter pick, I'd have to say.
A deceptively tanky character as of late. Iceka going to be looking to be the answer here for Horrocks NSC's problems. Big. And yeah, Tread is going to be going down here. Nice artillery fire, just split up the team. Condi will be catching on to the opposing Bastion. We're going to be popped out the turret form very soon. Window here just to secure things out. And yeah, Horrocks NSC finally going to have proper footing on a point here. Tread already going to be making the swap over. No longer happy to play the Orisa, wants the Rhine instead. This is EU Overwatch now.
Yeah, both teams having played the Rhine comp, but somehow we haven't seen a Brawl Mirror yet. But yeah, Horrocks with the beat looking pretty confident. That was expensive though for Horrocks. NSC is not a job. They had to spend 3 ultimates. The window from Fate, I think, the most hurtful. And Tread Gaming know that. They know they can re-engage with what they have. What they have isn't too much either, so Horrocks NSC is not a job. They have at least ult advantage here, but Horrocks has to live!
What the hell was that? Horrocks in the skybox being killed out anyway. Sonder, however, catching Tread. That is going to be a big pick onto the main tank there. Condi on the side has a whole lot of health, has a whole lot of damage. Iska barely going to be living, but Captain Prash getting a little bit antsy here, catching two in this fight here. And fair play to Captain Prash. A little bit of red at Lucio, just going to be paying off a smidge there.
And Horrocks, unfortunately, threw that fight. It's as simple as that. You died that early, then unfortunately, your team's going to die. There's not a chance to use the beat. There's no sustain after Fate goes down. So yeah, a big mistake from Horrocks when he's going to be kicking himself about.
Apparently Horrocks is washed. That's someone else's words,
Tread?
not ours. Tread going down, going in so low, not actually going to be dying out here. Condi instead taking advantage of it. There is going to be this flux coming up into the sky from Iska. Whole lot of damage in, but a whole nothing of kills, and instead, rest of the point just going to be one out here by Tread Gaming. Off the map, off the point. Where is this fight even taking place? Tracer pick is going to be coming through from Sonder. Is desperately going to be trying to touch in, but being chased down by a Riptire. Seems like a horror movie here. And a Wrecking Ball swap from Iska as well. Looks like Horrocks NSC not quite able to touch the point out. Tread Gaming, match point in our series today.
Tread Gaming are sailing towards the 4-0 here. Horrocks NSC is not a job, unfortunately, have not been able to put up a fight. And unfortunately, nothing was more symbolic of that than New Junk says a consistent fight wins. Then there were some fight wins that were well played, but unfortunately, every single time the consistency was on the side of Tread Gaming. And I mean, just look at Condi go. On the bash was an absolute force of nature, one that Sonder unfortunately could not mirror. And so we're going to mean we have to see the reverse sweep in best of 7. Not something you see in Overwatch really ever. It's looking rough out there. Horrocks NSC is not a job.
I just want to ask the crowd quickly, who here thinks that Horrocks NSC is not a job is going to reverse sweep this? Okay, we actually have some enthusiasm. Okay, never mind then. Seems like everyone's still in this. They want this series to carry on. So do we, absolutely. Hopefully we can get a bit of a longer match out today, because right now it has been very one-sided. If your Horrocks NSC is not a job, definitely going back to the drawing board here. Try and get something working here.
That they do, and coming into map 4, I do believe the map type will be pushed. Typically, they'd like to go towards Colosseo to try and force the rule to get that value, so they can get good value too out of AQ Symmetra teleporters. But whether that's a choice here or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. In the meantime, we are just going to be... obviously, in the meantime, we do have a lot of people here thinking that Horrocks NSC is going to be winning this one out. So, you know, I want you guys to vote. And you're going to vote with noise, all right? Who here thinks that Horrocks NSC is going to reverse sweep this series? Yeah! Let's go, Fate! Okay, all right. And who thinks that Tread Gaming are going to shut this one out, make it 4-0? Yeah! Come on, Tread! I have no idea what's happening, dude.
It sounds a lot like they're supporting both teams.
Yeah, we have one team who just kind of supports everyone here. No one else has an opinion.
It's for the love of the game.
Exactly. They just want to see more Overwatch, you know. You know what? It's one of those things where you just get on stage and say, you know what? I just hope both teams are having lots of fun. We forget about the prize pools, forget about the 750 quid, which sounds quite nice right now, honestly.
Somehow I don't think either of these teams have forgotten about it, and for Horrocks NSC is not a job. It's a quickly fading dream, taking that first place prize. Tread Gaming right now, I mean, they're sailing towards it, aren't they? And it's been very, very smooth waters too. Feels like there's only been a couple fights won even for Horrocks NSC is not a job, who unfortunately have not had either rhyme nor reason to bring it back. And it's very much what we're seeing in the previous games as well. Some nice play from Horrocks, but Tread Gaming, when it matters most, when the going gets tough, then they're going to pull it out more times than not. And Horrocks NSC is not a job. Unfortunately, just haven't.
Yeah, and it's really important to try and not get too worked down here, because this is still, it is not over. As weird as that sounds, hey, it's a best of 7. So we have a lot more time to go here. Horrocks NSC, they can go into go back into the kitchen, then cook up something absolutely delicious here that they can, present on stage, take maps and maps off of Tread Gaming, try and start a snowball. We have seen reverse sweeps of this caliber before. It is absolutely not impossible here for Horrocks NSC to clutch this one out. Looking over, they're still in good spirits on stage. They're still happy about just being here, happy about the opportunity. Hopefully they can translate that into a couple of map wins now.
I hope so too. It's not like Horrocks and Sea's not job haven't taken maps off of Tread Gaming before. Now they're warmed up. They've had all the time in the world to get suited, settled down into LAN. And it's going to have to be a last-minute clutch-up, but it's definitely something possible. Now, if I were them, I'd be thinking about adaptations. I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. If they pick May, if they go Coliseo, I think that'll be their best chance for getting a flip. I think Tread Gaming don't really want to play the Rhine mirror by the looks of things. They've been avoiding it when they can. They only swap to the Rhine once Isaac has swapped off of it. Isaac, of course, a known Rhine aficionado, as Egda likes to say. And not wanting to mirror him so far is Tread. So if they manage to force the mirror on Coliseo, a map where you can't really take off angles, I think that will be the best way of getting a victory, of eking out a map win here, at least at EPIC40.
Yeah, and actually map pick is going to be Esperanza here. So the prediction that you made about Coliseo, Horrocks NSC is not a job. They're going to be going Esperanza instead. What's different about this map, aside from obviously, you know, the glass on Coliseo, which you've spoken about ad nauseum at this point? What's so different about Esperanza as a push map?
It's easier to get value out of your symmetric teleporters. For the most part, you can teleport almost always to high ground. It's going to scale you quickly onto the backline where they're playing on the bridge or under it. And it forces your enemy team to play essentially all castles in the middle of the point, standing on top of the rotor for at least a starting fight, which is a positional disadvantage, most teams would argue. And of course, without the symmetric teleporter, it gives teams the ability to play your backline on the bridge all the time. You can clash in the area of the map where the point isn't in the courtyard. So Horrocks NSC is not a job, hoping, I'm assuming, that AQ on the symmetric will be the key that fits this particular lock. It hasn't before, but maybe this time on the fourth turn, something will change.
We've given Horrocks NSC is not a job some time in the drawing room. This is do or die now right here. This is their chance to save this series, bring it back from the brink. Tread Gaming, they want to get on the pints early, I reckon. So they're just going to be trying to clutch this one out as soon as humanly possible. Horrocks NSC is not a job. Looks like there might be a little bit of a different look coming out from them, and yeah, I understand it.
They've picked this counter comp before, and it did work out for them, but they were not happy about it. I'll tell you that much now. We spoke about it, and they said this exact words, that playing against this comp was boring, and they hated it.
Well, I don't think there's going to be some boring Overwatch, so don't you worry about it. Very different look here, obviously, from Horrocks NSC. It's not a job. Playing something entirely different from a rush, trying to take angles, trying to isolate out a target. Kuno going to have to be playing the game very carefully here.
Yeah, trying to engage in is Isaac, missing the slam, having to get out. No symmetric will be played. Instead, Sonda on the Sombra, who's trying to get a hack, trying to get a virus, and so far found nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately not doing a whole lot. Fate, however, from downtown, going to be catching down onto Takuno. I did say Takuno had to fear for their life, but that wasn't quite what I was expecting. That is a big pick now. Tread Gaming have a lot of sustain gone. The longer the fight drags on now, the better things are here for Horrocks NSC. SXJ is going to be hacked up. Still going to be alive in the time being. We see Iska flying in on the ball. AQ going there, but head being taken nice and clean off there by Condi, who is still free on this high ground, getting the rail charge up, and Horrocks, almost a bit of skeet shooting there, but not quite going to work out. Actually, time here, but Fate, yeah, Fate having actually gotten both kills in this fight, onto supports both times, putting in some work from downtown. Condi so low, but not quite able to get pressured out by Iska here.
Instead, it's Horrocks who finds the melee kill onto the Sojourn, and cleaning up the point now is Horrocks NSC is not a job. Their first clean fight by the fields of things, and finally the virus will take care of Tread, and they can begin to get some progress on the robot. Swapping over to the Wrecking Ball comp, well, their counter comp for the Doomfist has clearly paid dividends for them, and it's on Tread Gaming now to try and find an answer for it. Queen will be the pick of choice, but being so close to all these ultimates, it doesn't look like much too will be the adaptation. Condi as well, actually on the Cassidy, has the nade to try and ruin the lives of the divers. That's going to be a pain to play against.
Yeah, so Tread Gaming going to be swapping this up quite a fair bit. Just, you know, standard counter dive characters. Cass with the nade. Tread has to be hitting these knives onto the ball to try and deny that value. Shouts as well to keep everyone nice and tanky. SXJ is going to be hacked up on the high ground, falling low. Beat is there from Captain Prash. Minefield out as well. Tread doesn't know where to look. Iska's so low, but it doesn't really matter. SXJ with the nano, with the blade on the high ground, and Tread Gaming taking this fight back.
I mean, it's a nano blade fight at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it's just going to wipe you, and unfortunately for Horrocks NSC, isn't no job. Their counterplay to that, to knowing that they had the nanoblade coming up, was taking an aggressive engage, trying to take care of Takuno early, but they used the Kitsune Rush for that. They used the Minefield for that. They still find nothing. So Horrocks NSC has no job. Spent a lot for very little. Tread Gaming more than happy to capitalize on it.
Fate falling incredibly low, going to have to get out here. That would have been very close to a disaster here for Horrocks NSC. Not a job.
There it is.
Anyway, Tread, not really sure where Fate went there. Tread was there following them regardless, and on the point where the fight is going to be taking place. Tread Gaming, they have the better point presence here. And Iska, that's one dead hamster right there.
And Icica themselves has professed to not being that good at the Wrecking Ball, and so it's unfortunate they've been forced onto it. There are saving graces, though. The beat from Horrocks, the EMP from Sonda. It'll be a lot harder to convert with EMP than on previous patches, but they're going to need the perfect thing if they are going to be taking 5 wins consistently against this Queen comp.
Yeah, Tread falling incredibly low in this small environment, but that's a nice carnage. Horrocks almost Ajaxing there, not quite. Just barely going to be staving off the demons for the time being. Instead, it is going to allow Horrocks NSC to actually clutch this one out, unless maybe Takuno, SXJ have something to say about it. It's a 2v2 now. Yes, the point has been stolen away here from Horrocks NSC, but Tread Gaming down but not out of this just yet. SXJ actually going to be getting the nano, no blade here. Instead, Takuno putting in an absolute carry level performance.
Kill Sonda out of Invis.
Yeah, out of Invis, and now getting back to this point, is anyone from Horrocks NSC able to touch this one?
It doesn't look like it, but they've just got cooked. They've got essentially 2-on-5. Takuno and SXJ picks Horrocks NSC is not a job apart. And with that, what looks so strong for Horrocks NSC is not a job has now quickly turned sour. Only the Pulse from here to invest. They have no tools, they have no positioning, and they have only the roll through of Icica to try and get anything going.
Yeah, lead coming through here from Tread Gaming as well. Prash is going to be hacked up, but unfortunately not going to be able to get the focus fire on to eliminate the target. It's going to be Fate, however, once again trying to carry on this, the Kiri here. Getting some headshots from downtown. Horrocks, unfortunately, falling low again. Horrocks NSC still have the numbers in this fight. Not anymore, because SXJ has something else to say about it. Hacks are going to be coming in. That is the virus going to be missing out. And Tread Gaming, they're getting picked off, but they're winning these fights anyway.
That they are, and it's so consistent. It's so damn consistent. SXJ with the stagger on to Sonda. And that's forward spawns unlocked. Now the payload can begin getting progress in earnest. This undertaking is looking ever further for Horrocks NSC is not a job, but they've got a whole gamut of ults to go into. The rampage from Tread is going to be terrifying. They do at least have the Suzu to cleanse it, but a Deadeye popped early to zone the dive.
Yeah, and unfortunately they're not able to kill Condi through that Deadeye, so a lot of space, a lot of distance going to be caught here. Ooh, very cheeky. Fate, what are you doing there, man? Trying to make some magic happen, but not going to be working out, unfortunately. There is just going to be more damage coming through. Tread going to be chasing Icica down to the ends of the earth here. Tread Gaming going through, and Condi deleting AQ from the game right there. Tread Gaming rolling over Horrocks NSC right now once again.
About 30 meters away from completing the map, completing the series, completing the tournaments. Horrocks NSC is not a job. Need to scramble to try and get a clutch up here. And while we've seen it before, it's looking further and further away. Tread Gaming have 4 ultimates. Another Nanoblade comes through.
Yeah, Nanoblade is here. SXJ is here to play. Not going to be getting a whole lot in the time being. There has been a beat. Mostly just going to be slicing through mines for the time being. Instead, AQ doing a bit of heavy lifting now. Trading out onto a couple members of Tread Gaming. Duel here between SXJ. Chance here for maybe a bit of a Genji or Tracer diff, but instead going to be doing
the a lovely stagger.
Dishonorable thing, backing up, going with your team. What a weird way to play the game.
And Tread staying behind can get staggered even further. This payload has been pushing the entire time, and Tread dies just as the robot's about to start pushing the wall, and so it's going to be a massive stagger. So much time where Tread Gaming aren't getting anything but an advantage towards Horrocks NSC is not a job. And they invested heavily in that last fight. They're only going to have the rampage here. Horrocks NSC is not a job. They're building up to many, many tools, and they are very, very confident right now as long as Icica doesn't go down.
Yeah, going to be a lot of free distance. Forward spawns are going to be taken here. Not necessarily a worry if you're Tread Gaming because you have so much distance in the first place. But yeah, that stagger onto Tread really did make all the difference here. A couple of key ultimates are going to be coming up here from Horrocks NSC is not a job. AQ trying to get value on the point. Kitsune Rush is going to be popped now. Try and just relieve a bit of pressure on the point. Horrocks as well. Pulse Bomb will be going in, but there's the rampage. Doesn't catch on to anyone. Only Sonda who popped the EMP. They're all in this small room. It's absolute carnage in here. We can't tell exactly what went on, but it ended with Icica committing an absolute war crime in that room.
Yeah, lovely played out of Horrocks NSC is not a job. They begin to get owned to the wide stretch. This is where they can get the most easy progress of their lives. Tread Gaming is going to really struggle to get the titular player into a position to get much of anything going. The shotgun scaling with the Junk Queen is going to be very, very rough, even with the Lucio speed. And so this is something the Horrocks NSC is not a job. They can punish. They have the minds to do so with.
Yeah, it's going to be a mostly neutral fight here. Not very many ultimates to work with on either side. Iska getting stuck up there. You can't be making fumbles like that. This is the big leagues now, my guy. Going to be slamming onto Tread instead, falling incredibly low. That could be the key pick. 100 meters to go. Condi from downtown with the Deadeye. Not going to be getting a whole lot. Going to be dropping down. Catching onto AQ instead. Very winnable here. SXJ popping the blade. Going to be hacked up. Still going to be getting the value at the final hour. Minds spread across the point to try and clutch up. To try and make something happen here for Horrocks NSE. But unfortunately, doesn't look like it's going to be able to do it. Spawn's simply too good here for Tread Gaming. Horrocks NSE have to be kicking themselves after that fight.
It's a rough fight loss, but realistically, it's not the end of the world for them. If they can stop Tread Gaming from taking consecutive fights, then they can still have a really good chance of getting the robot back and eclipsing the distance Tread Gaming have. They only have the Nano Boost right now. It's a nice tool for certain, but it might not be enough to just win the fight the same way that the Nano Blade combo would be.
Yeah, exactly. And Tread has made the swap over to the Diva here just to try and peel a little bit more. Still going to get hacked up by a Sombra. A lot of overwhelming damage going to be coming through. Still prioritizing the team. SXJ still prioritizing getting these kills, chasing them down. Hack will come out. A little bit aggressive. Support was pretty good, but eventually it's going to be going down. Trade is happening in the meantime. Condi falling incredibly low, but instead the support is there. Fate instead returning to the fight, landing even more kunai onto Captain Prash. That's something that we've seen a couple times before. AQ could get a little bit cheeky with this pulse bomb here. Isn't going to do it. Instead, just going to be returning back to basics, back to the point where Tread is taking them out of the fight.
Horrocks NSE is not a job, need to find these stagger kills here. They need to do it quickly. A lovely dive on Sukuna is going to flatten them. The Kasuna Rush invested here too to make this fight more winnable, but as Ice falls, it's going to be harder and harder. AQ! A beef!
Yeah, absolutely getting destroyed there by Captain Prash in the neutral. The Nano did come through onto Condi there to allow Iska to go down. Hack onto SXJ as well to force him to back out. This fight is still so scrappy. It's still anyone's game here.
That it is, and as the ults are coming for Horrocks NSE, it's not a job. Tread Gaming going to have to be feeling scared about that. All the pressure is going to be Captain Prash. If the beat comes off, then it can absolutely ruin Horrocks NSE. Is not a job's chances in this fight. If he Ajaxes, though, it could be a different matter entirely.
Yeah, and this would not be the way to end the series right now. Condi is going to be using that. Fate actually going to be going down. Big pick here for Tread Gaming, and 20 seconds left on the clock. Mean Horrocks NSE have to pull off an absolute miracle here if they want to stay into this. Horrocks trying to cause that miracle.
Iska goes down.
But Iska going down means you don't have a tank. What you do have is 10 seconds left on the clock and a dream here. Horrocks NSE going to be getting picked off one by one by one. Bot is going to be pushed just to the center, not giving Horrocks NSE a chance to touch this. And was it ever in doubt, ladies and gentlemen? Tread Gaming going to be winning out your EPIC40 Overwatch 2 tournament today. Phenomenal performance.
Fate be damned. Destiny arrives all the same. They will be winning out this game. And was it ever in doubt? As you said, Edgar, I mean, fantastically played all throughout the series. There's a nice curveball to bring out the Wrecking Ball, but unfortunately not enough to get the W.
Yeah, it was an adaptation. It was out of desperation. You have to give Horrocks NSE a lot of credit there because they tried their absolute damnedest without having a whole lot to work with. You know, likely a composition that they haven't really practiced before. They just kind of realized, okay, we're losing. We need to change something very, very quickly. But unfortunately, it just was not enough against the powerhouse, ever flexible, ever strong, ever mechanically present team of Tread Gaming, who have fought a very well-earned victory today. First place in our tournament today. Commiserations, of course, to Horrocks NSE, put on a wonderful show. But as we said, the result never in doubt.
And every player played absolutely fantastically from Horrocks NSE. Is not a job. I have to give a special shout out to Takuno, who on that flex support role has played fantastically throughout the entire tournament. Some humongous nades came through when he was on the Ana, and here today, Nano Boost were really the tool that powered them to victory, consistently dumping them onto SXJ. Absolutely fantastic, but that's been all from us today, so take it away, Affinity.
What a series to end the tournament on. An absolutely dominant landslide victory, and an incredible way, of course, to kick off our first ever Overwatch 2 at Epic Land. So massive congratulations to Tread Gaming, and of course commiseration to Horrocks NSE is not a job.
Yes, indeed. I think we should probably try and see if we get one of the winners to come up and have a quick chat.
Yeah, shall we? Do
you have a volunteer?
Does anyone want to volunteer for a little chat? The crowd has chosen. The crowd has chosen, my guy. Come on up.
It's either one of you decides or they decide, and I think they've already decided.
Yeah, throw so much shade. Never seen Horrocks with the most shade.
There you go, my friend. How did it go? Did you enjoy?
Yeah, it is
You should be turned on, hopefully.
I don't think it's on.
It's not on.
No, it's not on.
All right, I have an idea.
You have an idea?
I
Here we go.
can unclip this, hopefully. There we go. Nope, I've been told not to do that by audio.
One
Oops.
second. We'll get a microphone working in a moment.
Sorry,
but
Hayden.
nice ears. Very nice ears, at least. Can I go? Keep it down?
Ah.
What you want?
Yeah, oh, no, I'm not touching them. No, God, no. Yeah, well, I'll go on then. Once. Ready? Okay, I like it, yeah. That's good. There we go. We should hopefully work in now.
New mic here.
Let's try this.
There we go.
Hello?
Yeah, you speak normally. You're good. Yeah. Do you enjoy at least? There we go. We'll start again. Do you enjoy your game?
Yeah, it was pretty chill, pretty fun.
Nice.
Simple.
Okay.
Simple. Yeah.
Any more than that, or
Not really.
not really? No.
Not really.
Did you have any strategies going into the game at least?
Yeah, so, I mean, we know that they are a brawl team since they do have a tank that has limited hero pool. But they are actually, like, good within the comp itself because they did play well into the groups. Like, we went 3-2, so it's not that they, like, we did have something to care for and we still did have to play the game seriously.
Okay.
So we did take, like, a few lessons from yesterday, so, I mean, we kind of just picked everything up and we just took it into today.
Cool. Not bad. I think what we'll do is we'll get the rest of your guys up. So if they all want to come round, you can lift the trophy then.
Do you guys want to
Come
come
on,
on
boys.
round?
Come on
I believe
round.
you have a trophy to collect.
Come on, lad.
In your own time, gents, you know. Some of us want to go to bed at some point, like, you know.
Oh, the trophy's not going anywhere.
This trophy's not going anywhere anyway. Who's going to lift it? Who's doing the honours?
Or do you want to gather around it? You can
Do you all want
collectively
to gather
lift it if
around
you
it?
want.
Well, you can stand at the front of there. Round of applause, please, ladies and gents, for your winners. Overwatch 2 at EPIC40. Well done. So that will be it. Sorry, I should say, for Overwatch 2. StarCraft 2 coming up next.
You do. You have the StarCraft finals to look forward to coming up next. That is the last event of the day. Of course, tomorrow you have your CS2 and Valorant finals to look forward to.
Exactly. We'll see you all in a little bit for StarCraft 2.